Welcome. On this channel, I do unscripted, unedited videos about Linux programming and stuff. If you're new to the channel, you should probably check out video number 1. The intro kind of explains what I do around here. And you could check out video number 23, which explains the current project I'm on. In the previous video, I was working on just loading the config for the game on the server. And in this video, I think we're going to essentially do the same thing, but it's going to be for loading the state. And may as well just kind of dive in. So, let me see here. We need to be in the projects, into Space Captain, into the server. I already have these files hanging out. I was actually going to start on them in the previous video, but then I realized that oops, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is split this. So I have state H there. I want source. So I want to I thought I had it open. eSource state C, and over here I want let's just open source config C, and then source I want to split and add source config H. Okay. I'm gonna. The reason I was opening both of these is I'm gonna end up just using this format, right? So it literally could start out as straightforward as just replacing the word. So here, if I just replace all config with state, oops, replace all config with state, and if I replace all config with state, and I'm replacing all and then I'm going to open one more. I'm going to vsplit, and I want to get a source space captain. I want to get main. We'll open that up over here. Okay. What's going to happen? You see, what's going to happen is I want to do let's start with, does this build? It should, because come to think of it, I wasn't including anything, so I kind of almost had to. So does that blow it up? That did not blow anything up. That did not blow anything up. That's interesting. I have config H. That did not blow anything up. So then, how much of this just works? So if I do state, hold it. Well, I'll just type it one line at a time here. If I say state, that is not at all what I wanted. I just want to copy that. We should have a state type, but it's not used. And then I should be able to say state So up here, I have a type called state result. So what I'm doing here is I'm defining a, and there it was defined as result. I need to define it as something different here. We will just call it state. So the st equals state load the pointer or the address of st. So on line 10, we have an error where we have two equal signs, and that makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, did I still... we don't want to be returning that error over there. So it runs to completion without blowing up. Now what we want is an if st result is not equal to state success. We'll do something. And that something is going to most likely return exit failure will be the end result of that. Just in case this moves in the future, what I'm actually going to do is have it call config free, the address of the config. We can find better ways to do this in the future. And what we're going to call is state print error st result. Yes. Did I mean state on line 12? Yes, I most definitely did mean state. Failed to allocate memory for... that blew it up. So what we're doing is we're calling state load. So I can get rid of that now because get rid of that. Okay, what was... okay, it runs too, right? Except for it failed to allocate memory for state and has string problems on 11 right here. So st result is coming back as not st success. And so if I go look at this load, oh, it's because it's hard-coded. And now it is succeeding. So that was really all that's required to do that, except for the actual loading of the state is quite different. It's not peeling it out of... so like right here, what we're doing is we're reading environment variables to populate state. But I am pretty positive that right now, all I want for the state is to read and write the, I allocate and read a file. Oh, we're going to need a write state, which we don't have yet. And so the way that this will work is just kind of pseudocoding it here is we're going to open a file and read into it the state struct size, read from it, read into state pointer, state struct size. Okay, so how does it know the where the state file is? Well, for the time being, let's simplify it as much as possible and say that it is going to be argv1. And so that means I need int argc and int argv. And what we're going to pass to int argv is going to be both the argv1 and that. And that means we need to update the load here. The first parameter is going to be a character pointer called file name. And on the load here, so this is state load, the first parameter is going to be a character pointer called file name. That gives us the file we need to open. State value gives us the where we're reading it into, and so let's see if we can use a little AI here to speed us up, because why not? I don't use it much, and this popped into my head as something that I could do it with, or I could explain it real quick. So if I ask so nice and simple. It's probably not enough info. This is the reason, in fact, that I'm doing this right now, is because I want to be able to get smarter about how to write prompts for programming stuff. It's just something that I don't do or haven't done in the past. And obviously, more information would be useful there. A lot more information would be useful. In fact, maybe what I should do is create a so it's getting a little carried away, I think, but so it defines a struct. Good. It opens the file for reading. Make sure we open successfully. Yep, let us know. Read the file line by line. I'm not real sure why they're reading it line by line. Well, okay, so this, I'm not going to mess with it. That was just a little experiment. But I just want to read size of the struct. So what we're going to do is first let's make sure this still builds. We have unused parameters, the file name and argc. So what we'll do to get rid of the argc complaint is the error is going to be, yep, that's fine. In fact, that's perfect. Assuming it was right. So yeah, line 3 before, did I accidentally delete something? Or did it actually give me that bad code? Unused parameter file name being passed in, but what we're going to do is we're going to do a we're going to need a file pointer, and we're going to open up and read file name. We'll use file, it's fine. We check to see if file opened. If not, we free and we return state. Oops. So that's effectively right. Oh, it even picks state unknown error for me. Nice. Oh, it just picked. That is interesting. Come on, actually autocomplete it. There we go. Unable to open file, and we've already we can ramp these the other way, simplify our life a little bit. Don't even try to allocate the memory until we've opened the file. That way we can just return the error. We don't have to. That free is wrong anyway. Oh no, it's just the variable is named wrong. So yes. Oops. Stages all become ST. Okay, so before we malloc space, let's try to open the file. If we malloc, if we are unable to open the file, we just return state unable to open file. And I'm just going to change this to file. We'll leave it. Okay, if I do open the file, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to malloc the size of state, and then I'm going to read the file into that. I'm going to leave that there for now. That replaces this. And then eventually what I will do is I'll close the file. So nope. F close file. And so now what I want to do is I want to F read into st size of state. I do not know what the 1 is. It must be a count for that and from file pointer. So man f read is going to, the return value is going to be the number of items read or written. When the size, the number equals the number of bytes transferred only when size is 1. If an error occurs, the end of file is reached. Return value is a short item count or 0. The file position indicator, blah, 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 freed, does not distinguish between end of file and error. Colors must use to determine which occurred. So I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm hoping that the file size is going to match. So let's, what I want to do is I want to make a file. So on Linux, CLI make file of specific size. DD. It's going to be DD. Okay, so I think that if I say a couple things I need to do here. First, let's get it into a building and I close is not a F close would be better. Okay, the first thing I want to do is just print printf size of state is that, and then exit 0. So it's 8 bytes. And to write 8 bytes, can I do this? So output is going to be, so we're going to call this state. State dent is fine. BS is going to be 8 bytes, count 1. We have I don't think that did what I wanted. Stat state. Yeah, so the size is 1 page. It did not do what I wanted. I want to do it from the CLI. Well, I could echo it. It's unclear to me if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's unclear to me if it's going to give me a null terminated string into state. So it's given me a file of size 9. Let's RM that. Let's do that. Stat state. So I think it's given me the extra null terminated character thing. Right, so now I don't have a null terminated string. It should be the exact size that we're reading in over here. I mean, this is the chicken and egg problem of I'm going to read the value before I've ever written it. Keep that one in mind for the future. Always write it first. But so now split. I want to edit the make file. and I want to go to the run target, and when it runs, I want it to run, I want it to pass state dat, right? And is that the name of the file? Ella? Yep, state dat. Now, what I want to do here is printf yep, so it thinks state dat is argv1. Let's get rid of those for the time being. That is what I'm passing into here. Let's run it. It seems to have worked. Let's, what is the, so here is the struct for state. This is the part that I'm going to look at the most often, I think. So I'm going to put this at the top. That way when I'm pulling the file open, I see it first. It's just getting a character pointer. That actually should work, right? No, I do not want to close that terminal. I don't know what key I just pressed. I should probably be able to I don't need that get environment anymore. That should still run. Oh, what did I break? Tape mode is in state.h19. I did not mean that. Main C17 state H19. Okay, that works. Get rid of the make file. Go back up here. Where's main? Okay, so we read the config, we pull a value out of the config, we read the state. I think just oh, damn it, this keyboard. We read the value out of state. We never changed anything about the struct for state versus config, so they're the same, but let's change it. Let's just make it a an integer. Let's go back over here. Does that change the size of the? No, it's still 8. And so then now that I've loaded just an integer, let's we'll call it count. And so now I'm going to have to printf count this %d st count. And we get some crazy value, and just to show that we're doing the one out of that let's change it to get a 8757 2217. Different number. So we're changing it. We are reading the right number. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to blow up when things aren't the right size. So it's not big enough. It should blow up. But I'm not even checking the error for fread. Man, fread. And the return value on fread, if it's short, this number equals the number of bytes transferred only when it's 1. If the error occurs or the end of the file is reached, the return value is a short item count or 0. And so the way to detect the error is to say if none of that, if fread is returning, fread is returning a size t. Size t red equals so what we're doing is we're first going to free because that happened earlier on. Then we're going to close, and then we're going to say unable to read file. Happening in reverse order of when they did things. Otherwise, we close and return. State, did you mean state unable to open files, state unable to read files? So it's making stuff up for me, yeah. Source, state, source state H, unable to open, unable to read file, and we're missing values here, so 1, 2, let's... So the third one, so we have success, unknown, failed to alloc, failed to open, failed to open file, failed to open, and %d expects argument type int, but return was type of int pointer. So up here, I need to fix that. There we go. Okay, so that did not do what I thought. So if I stat state dat, it is only 4 bytes. So I was expecting it to get an error there, right? Because I expected number of records read. We read past the end of the file. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to be trying to sort out in the next video is why state load doesn't error when I try to read past the end of the file right here. So at least as far as I can tell, I have a file that is only a few bytes long, but it's trying to read 8. So let's just, oops, what did I do? So it read 1 record, even though the size of the file records read 0. I mean, so it correctly detected the error, and it should have done all of this, and then return. Okay, so maybe I didn't finish catching stuff over here, so let me see this here. So here I catch state, in which case I free the config and exit. Oh, and then it's just complaining that what didn't I? Something didn't get freed here. So just doing it in reverse. Okay, so I read. This is bugging my brain, so I'm just going to fix this. First, I don't know why, but first alloc, then open the file. If I fail to open the file, I have to free st. If I fail to read, I have to free st and also close. And then down here, I am not freeing. So it first is close, and then free st. That was the memory not being freed. So the outside and then the inside, that's on the inside, that's on the outside, and these should be backwards. Okay, so something's still not being freed. Okay, what was the error? Index 4 out of bounds for type characters, insufficient space for an object of type pointer here. I think it knows that oh, I know how to do this. So if I make the file, what I want to prove is if it fails to read. And so what I'll do is we can leave this as the size of 1, right? But instead, let's make the struct itself bigger, and now it's trying to read. Okay. I want to come down here. Okay, so we are printing records red, and we know that we know that we have space for 10 records, but we know that we're going to read less than 1, and so that fails. And so if it's not, did I get here? That's the actually, that is what I want, right? So end of file reached unexpectedly. Okay. And if that's the case, and I close, I close the file, and I free the memory, and that means that I should be getting a state error. Oh, is this happening because there's something wrong with my state error printing out? Let's not print the state error. Let's just free the config and exit. Yes. So it's my state error that's messed up. And so there is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at this. Let's print 0. Let's also let's fprintf, or let's printf. But I want to print what is state result? It's a int will work. St result. What is the actual value we're getting for that? So error loading state file. Error loading state file. I'm getting a value of 4. Right? That's the correct value. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, unable to read. And if I pass 4 to this, that blows up. Okay, so what happens if I pass 3 to it? What happens if I pass 2? End of file reached unexpectedly. Okay, so let's come over here. Error, failed to allocate memory for blah, 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 blah. Failed to read on... 2 should be failed to allocate memory, and that is what I got with a spelling mistake. Failed to allocate memory for state. Oh, are these not? Why do they feel like they're not being null terminated? Oh, it's concatenating strings on me. I didn't know C did that. Oh, what a foot gun. And so if I... I want to find out. Okay, so whereas if I put the comma there, nice to know. Okay, so now I can get rid of all of the debugging tools here. So, right, we need to also split and go back and open source config H and make sure we don't have any similar error. Okay, so now that's good. Okay, malloc the memory, open the file, free the memory if it failed. Otherwise, read the records. We don't want to print anything. I don't want to, yeah, let's disambiguate those. Gonna have to do it someday, might as well do it now. So if I look inside of source and I look inside of state, not C though, source state H. Let's we'll have an unexpected end of file error. And what we'll do is, no matter what, we do those, and then otherwise the other. And in this one, unexpected end of file. State, unexpected end of file, unable to read file. So if this, do that, else do that. Not sure which one I like better. That certainly takes up a lot more space. I'll go, these are short. I could do that. Let's just leave it that way and run it. Failed to allocate memory for state. This should be an end of file problem, right? Did I get it backwards? If end of file, return state unexpected end of file, else return state unable to read file. And right now, it didn't fail to allocate memory. I thought we just had this. So we're going to print out the records read. What did it add in here? Nothing. Print the records read. So it read 0 records. It read 0 records, but it's still not giving me an end of file. That's interesting. Man, if is non-zero if the end of file indicator is set for stream, otherwise it returns 0. Okay, I'm not going to try and troubleshoot that right now. For whatever reason, that doesn't return end of file. to make sure I understand that it's not working, we're simply removing that option, and we always return state unable to read file. That way when I come back to 21, that way when I come back to fix it, failed to allocate memory for state. Oh, failed to allocate memory for state. Huh? Why would I be getting that on 22? Okay, I did not end up there. So success, unknown, alloc, malloc, open, read. Why? Okay, so this video is running long. I think this is what we're going to come back to debug. Odds are that when we do, we'll figure out that the same problem exists over in, well, maybe not. I was thinking it would exist over in the config load, but the config load isn't reading from a file. I am missing something here, and I'm just not seeing it, so I need to take a little break. It's saying on line 22 that I'm failing to, and now it's saying 22 because this was the one that's triggering, so that means the state success returned some kind of error on the state load. So state load did not error here, and let's it does not error there. It does in fact error here. But I am returning unable to read file. Oh, I'm glad I followed that through. So st result is yeah, so we're getting the failed to read state file. And the reason we're failing to read the state file is because the state file is not as big as the state record. If the state record is big enough, then it works. And it's probably because something like the minimum buffer sizes or whatever, that it works. The next thing that we'll do, in fact, I'm just gonna clean this up. We'll take out this puts. I believe everything is correct at the moment. So this is just setting up so I pass state when I'm debugging. Git diff source config h. Put the comma on the end. Remove the forced failure. So add okay, so vim that I did ignore. That is good. So what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, added state loading. Okay. And from there is where we will pick up in the next video. I'm not even sure what's next, but we'll find out when we start.